You are listening to Unravel with Natalie Denise.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Nightly with Natalie. Of course, I see some of you regulars here. Tank, Darla, Keem, thank you so much for being here. Sophia, hey Sophia, what's going on? Nice to see you. Rana, Keem, Tank, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nightly with Natalie. We're gonna jump right in because I am already late tonight. Man, I'm exhausted. I upped my weight. I'm challenging myself with the weights, lifting a little bit more. I really like to challenge my body, but when I do that, like the night or the end of that day that I lift weights or I up my weight, my body just it's exhausted. It's like, no, Natalie, you need to relax. So after this, I'm just gonna plop down on my bed and just go to sleep, I think. I had a very busy day today, but it was also busy in the Senate hearing, as you guys know. Judge Jackson Brown, she's wanting to get sworn in as a Supreme Court justice. And there were more controversial sound bites that came out today. And of course, I'm going to rant about it. Why not? Of course, I'm going to rant about it. What do you think? This is crazy. This is crazy, guys. Like the sound bites coming out from her today were just insane. So let's begin with this first piece here. So Senator Graham, okay, look, Graham himself, I have my criticisms for, right? Graham has said some other things in the past that were probably as equally as insane and kind of show his true colors and his rhino-ness, if you understand what I mean. So I don't necessarily agree with Senator Lindsey Graham and everything that he says, but he threw the right questions and he said the right things. I don't know if he was genuine about it. I don't know if he was just pandering, but listen to her response. I think this is like the most important piece out of everything, her response. So Senator Graham starts by questioning her about her prior escapades in letting the pedofifis, letting them off really, really easy. Yesterday, we went through this. Yesterday, we were talking about how she had was responding to Senator Graham, and he was questioning her about very specific cases that she had leniency on these pedofifis, right? And he cited the case after case after case after case, one in which he was talking about He was talking about a case of an 18-year-old sexually molesting a 8-year-old, and she let him off easy because she said that they were close in age. Well, it's 10 years apart. So what's your range in closeness? And also, the kid is 8 years old. There's no equivalence whatsoever, you know? Like this is not this is not an argument at all for a sane person with any minute amount of consciousness. So her response to Senator uh, Hawley yesterday, when he questioned her why she did that, why she gave leniency to the pedophile, and she said, well, she didn't have her court notes with her court record with her. I mean, do you have to give a do you need a court record to say what is the obvious, that children should not be assaulted at any age, and that the perpetrators, the abusers, need to go into the prosecution process at its fullest, right? So that is what her response was yesterday. She didn't have her notes with her. Oh, well, I don't have my notes. And all of a sudden, it's really crazy that these people all of a sudden have amnesia when they are questioned. Well, today we're going to clock back to Lindsey Graham, asking her about her leniency in those respects. This is what she had to say. Make sure I have my volume up.
In comes the internet. In comes the internet. On the internet, with one click, you can receive, you can distribute tens of thousands.
Doesn't matter.
You can be doing this for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely good. I hope you are. Good.
Allow her to finish, please.
I hope you go to jail for 50 years if you're on the internet trolling for images of children and sexual exploitation. So you don't think that's a bad thing? I think that's a horrible
thing. That's not what the witness said, and she should.
Income.
I mean, imagine that, and let me remind you of her argument yesterday. Not her argument, but her response, because they're not arguing, they're responding. This is a hearing. So in one of her responses to Senator Hawley's questions about this, she gave this explanation that, back then, they're not serious peas, right? They're not serious pedophiles, because we need to judge them on the seriousness of the amount of content and the way that they get it. And me, as a sane human being, I'm saying, hey, it really doesn't matter whether this pedophile gets their CSM, which stands for child sexual material, from the mail, from the internet, from where. It does not, or from a USB handoff. Does not matter, okay? The fact of the matter is that these sick ass people are getting their content. They have an inclination to look for this content, right? I think that's the common denominator of all arguments, that it stops there. But her argument was, well, before, the pedophiles would get their content with by mail, and now that we have the internet, it's more accessible. But these are full-fledged adults, ma'am. Like, these adults have the power to restrain themselves and not do that and get help, right? But nowadays, because of the accessibility of the internet, a offender can be caught with thousands of images, thousands of videos, right? We read that all the time here on the Daily Traffic when we go through that segment. They always go through thousands of images when they get caught, right? So that's not showing whether they're a more serious pedophile or not. That's showing that the culture around us is grooming us into pervasiveness. and that there's a more accessibility. Yes, I mean, yes, that part is true. There's more accessibility, but the point is they shouldn't even be there. Whether or not they're getting their CSM from mail, from internet hard drive, I'm from the internet, I mean, USB hard drive, whatever, SIM card, whatever, doesn't matter. The instrument of transportation, the instrument of you know, getting this material does not matter. So that was her argument yesterday. I'm just reminding you guys. But today, her argument was, you know, a P can be on the internet browsing for 15 minutes and get 30 to 50 years in prison. And I do agree with Senator Lindsey Graham. I mean, like, again, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I essentially agree with what he said. Good. They should get 30 to 50 years for that. It doesn't matter whether it's 5 minutes or 15. The fact of the matter is that they had an inclination to look at child sexual exploitation material online. That's it. That's it. Whether it was for 5, 15, 20, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. Okay? So her argument is, well, poor them. They view it for 15 minutes and then they get sent to prison for 30 to 50 years. Good. Set an example, right? I say that there should be another punishment, but you know, that's not something that I can discuss on this podcast. So I mean, amongst ridiculousness, but it gets even better. I mean, this is another soundbite. This has nothing to do with CSM, but Senator Marsha Blackburn asked her to define what a woman was, and listen to her response.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can.
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of-
She's not a biologist. I love how like the reaction to that, like no, like no. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you what 7 times 2 is. Right? I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you what 50 plus 10 means or what it equals. Do you have to be a mathematician to find certain results? Right? I'm not a chef, but I can surely cook huevos rancheros, right? Right? But this is her argument that she's not a biologist. You don't have to be a biologist. My gosh, like this just displays how far we have gotten from just critical common sense. We're trying to redefine what gender, what sex, whatever. This is crazy to me. This is a Supreme Court nominee. Listen to this one more time. Just one more time. I just need you to just listen to this.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can.
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide. So I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about. Just last week, an entire generation of young girls watched as our taxpayer-funded institutions permitted a biological man to compete and beat a biological woman in the NCAA swimming championships. What message do you think this sends to girls who aspire to compete and win in sports at the highest levels?
Senator, I'm not sure what message that sends. If you're asking me about the legal issues related to it, those are topics that are being hotly discussed, as you say, and could come to the court.
I really can't. I really can't. I can't with this. I really cannot with this. So she couldn't define a woman, but she could define that there was an age range of 10 years between an 18-year-old adult and an 8-year-old little boy. And she could define that, oh, they're not that much far apart in age, but you can't define what a woman is? Like, tell me how this all makes sense. Like, people are literally believing this. And it really, it aggravates me that we're here. This is how far we've come, where a Supreme Court justice is arguing for leniency for offenders. Okay? And again, I say it every time. What is my biggest argument here? Right? Pop quiz. My biggest argument is in all major cities right now, bail reforms. Bail reforms, bail reforms, bail reforms. A offender, a domestic abuser, a criminal, somebody who has a criminal history, somebody who is an assailant. I mean, nameless, right? All the criminals, they're being let off with a lower bail, and nobody's talking about that a lot. Well, some more conservative leaning outlets, but the bail is a big problem. People's moms have been killed through this. Where their mother they were just walking down the street getting breakfast at McDonald's. This is a real story. And all of a sudden, a repetitive criminal who was let out on a low bail killed her. Okay. Same thing. Another story in Austin. We went through this on my main channel. In Austin, a repetitive child offender was let out on a redone bail. The first suggestion for bail was at $1 million. So that way he could not post. And then the secondary judge, for whatever reason, she reset the bail at just $50,000. And he could post for $5,000 and he was out. Okay. So these bail reforms are a big, big factor. So if you're telling me now that you're cool with leniency towards child offenders, with child sexual exploitation material, and you're cool with letting them off easy, what message are we sending to the rest of America and the local court systems? I mean, this is a dark time in America, man. Dark time. Okay, let's transition into the daily traffic. Oop, let's throw the brand up. All right. Okay, so we are talking now. I wonder if, let me just see. Stop screen. Let me see if I am able to share my other screen. I'm not, so that's okay. It's just that this one has a lot of ads, so apologize for that. Okay, but this is coming from Fox 40. A family believes a missing 15-year-old is a victim of human exploitation. Loved ones of a missing teenage girl are pleading for help in finding her. Family members told Fox 40 they believe the teen may have been taken against her will to Sacramento from Oakland by a sexploiter. Relatives of the 15-year-old Alicia Aaliyah Marie Bryant are in the middle of their own stakeout at a Stockton Boulevard motel. Her mother and aunt are frustrated that they said it is a slow response to the girl's disappearance. They say, if she sees this, I want to tell her I don't care what she's doing. I want her home, said Bryant's mother, Marlene Davis. I don't care what's going on. I just want her to come home or at least call me to let me know she's okay and that I love her. And no matter what, I'm going to be here. Our children are not for sale. Our children are not supposed to go missing, said Aaliyah Shank, the founder of Impact. It's not normal to go missing. Kids just don't go missing. They're taken, and she needs to come home to her family. The missing teen has 2 first names, but she goes by Alicia. She was last known to be in Los Angeles before being spotted Sunday in Sacramento in a motel, according to the relatives. Loved one said that Brian has no family in Los Angeles and that her numbers are blocked when they call her phone, which has never happened before. Until her cell phone pinged in South California, Brian's family had no contact with her since March 11th. The family said that they believe she's being held by a known predator whose car is at the Motel 6, and that because of the color of her skin and the fact that she's been a runaway in the past, law enforcement is ignoring the danger Brian is in. They say, we've contacted several law enforcement departments and we've been turned away each time, explained Bryant's aunt. The sheriff themselves were out there about 2:30 this morning, knocking on the said door that Alicia is supposed to be located in. Nothing. They knocked for about 20 minutes. They left and asked us to leave right behind them. Brian's family said the motel clerk got into the room with a pass key and told them it was clear someone was staying out there, but they weren't inside the time. Oakland police told Fox 40 that finding Bryant is a Sacramento County Sheriff's Office case and that her vice squad is assisting. Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy said that the search is an active investigation and they have tried to ping Bryant's phone, canvass the area, and reviewed the surveillance video, but have been unable to determine if she was or is in Sacramento. Let me try to find a picture of this young lady. Uh-oh. What is happening? That was really weird. Did you guys see that? That was super duper weird. My entire feed didn't black out, but my Chrome screen just blacked out. Like all of my Chrome screens. I have a Chrome screen on my external monitor here. It blacked out, and then all of them just blacked out. That's really strange, crazy. Okay. Where is the picture of the mother here we go. That's not it. Let's try to refresh this. I really want to get a picture for those of you watching in podcasts. So if you are in the California area, Sacramento area, come on. I'm trying to get a picture. It won't load. Here we go. Okay. Oh, this is beyond frustrating. Come on, man. This is why I don't like these ads. It looks to be that she was wearing a yellow shirt and jeans. Here we go.
Teenager holding a news conference in Sacramento earlier today. They want authorities to do more to investigate a tip that Alicia Bryant might have been at a motel on Stockton Boulevard after she went missing. Fox 40's Sincere Tonsel is here with what the 15-year-old's family members have to say. Sincere.
Eric, Bryant's mother and aunt are in the middle of their own stakeout because they say they've gotten little help from law enforcement across the region for what they believe is a sex trafficking case. They're outside of the Motel 6 at Stockton Boulevard in LC, which is where they and community advocates spoke out from today, sharing the heartbreak this 15-year-old's disappearance has caused.
If she see this, I just want to tell her that I don't care what she's doing. I just want her home. I don't care what's going on. I just want her to come home or at least call me to let me know that she okay and that I love her. And no matter what, that I'm going to always be here.
Our children are not for sale. Our children are not supposed to go missing. It's not normal to go missing. Kids don't just go missing. They're taken. And she needs to come home to her family.
This teen has 2 first names, Aaliyah, but goes by Alicia, and was last known to be in Los Angeles before being spotted yesterday in Sacramento at that Motel 6. Loved ones say she has no relatives in LA and that their numbers are being blocked when they call her phone, something that's never happened before.
All right. So we got an image, but we got also the details. So if you are in the Sacramento area and you see this young lady, please call law enforcement. All right. Next, coming from 3 News Now, Omaha man found guilty of attempted sex trafficking of a minor. United States Attorney Jan Sharp announced Tuesday that an Omaha man has been found guilty of attempted sex trafficking of a minor. Hamaduzaman Syed faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years in prison to a life sentence. Chief United States District Judge Robert F. Rossiter Jr., who ordered the pre-sentence investigation and set Syed's sentencing hearing to July 1st. According to the press release in November of 2020, the deputy with Douglas County Sheriff's Office posted an advertisement on Skip the Games. This is a website known to be commonly used for prostitution. On November 17, 2020, Syed responded to a phone number on the advertisement by a text message and began communicating with an undercover deputy who was informed Syed that they were a 15-year-old female. Syed then arranged to meet who believed to be a 15-year-old girl for half an hour for for $100. Syed traveled to an agreed upon a location with condoms and agreed upon $100 as a pursuant to their text message conversation. The case is being investigated by Douglas County Sheriff's Office as part of the FBI Child Enticement and Human Trafficking Task Force. Next story is very, very sad. Border Patrol, they have rescued a 4-year-old girl. She was left alone by human traffickers / human smugglers. And of course, there is still a surge at the border. This is coming from Fox News. Border Patrol agents in the Del Rio sector in Texas rescued a small child who they say had been left on a riverbank by human traffickers. Another 4-year-old girl, same age as the one who was recently drowned, was found on the riverbank after a smuggler carried her across and left her there, no parents to be found. Chief Border Patrol agent Jason D. Owens tweeted Tuesday, "The child is now safe thanks to our agents." And this is an image, here we go, of the Border Patrol agent with the child cradling her on his shoulder. And she is small. I mean, this is something again that is a reoccurring scene at the border where these little girls are being brought over with like grown adult males, and they're just, the way they're even handled is heartbreaking. Like some of them just grab them by the elbow and just like, let's go, and they claim to be their fathers. But I mean, what's the anomaly with nothing but fathers coming across the border with their children, especially when they're little girls? The girl's identity has not been released by officials. The retrieval of the young girl marks the second time this month the migrant child was found alone at the border. A 4-year-old girl was dropped in the Rio Grande by her mother March 4th, and her body was found days later by Marine units, according to CBS Austin. Very troubling. Very, very sad. And then finally, Canada orders Peter Nygard extradited to the U.S. once Canadian charges are addressed. So Peter Nygard, you guys know who he is. He is the Canadian fashion designer who is awaiting extradition over to the United States due to sex trafficking. Canada's Justice Minister said on Tuesday that he had ordered fashion designer Peter Nygard's extradition to the United States to face sex trafficking and racketeering charges, but only after similar charges against him in Canada are addressed. U.S. authorities accused Nygard, 80, of using his businesses to lure women and girls in the United States, Canada, and the Bahamas since 1995 to sexually gratify himself and associates, according to accusations he denies. So it looks to be that it is being ordered. Here we go. And with that, looks to be that we will have some additional news with Peter Nygard as he is extradited pretty soon, hopefully. Guys, thank you so much for your love and support for this podcast. And thank you for listening. Guys, if you are listening on audio, thank you for listening as well and giving me 5-star ratings on the rating scale. I appreciate you all so much. I will see you guys tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natalie Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.